reading Seneca today. This is an old philosopher who died about 2,000 years ago, but he's still very relevant. And in this book called On the Shortness of Life, he talks about how we waste our lives by fearing death. He says death isn't something far off in the future. It's something that's with us right now, something that we carry around with us all the time. It's think me. And if we understand what death is really like, it will teach us how to live. So I want to read some of his words to you and then talk about why he's so right. He says, when you think of life as a whole, it is long. When you think of the last part of life, it is short. We behave in exactly the same way with the period of life that is here as if it were already past. We ought to be thinking of the whole of life as if we were already dying. For it is from this thought that we learn what to do and say, and what to expect from others, and what not to expect. We have been given life not to prepare for living, but to live. Seneca on fear. So when we start thinking about death, we can get scared. But when we stop thinking about death, we miss out on life because we don't know how precious it is. So let's look at this fear of death and see why it is so wrong. 1, it makes us hoard stuff. Seneca says we make ourselves little tombs. We surround ourselves with jewels and gold and fine clothes and fancy cars. And we think that by doing that, we're going to avoid death. But he says those things kill us. He says they rot our insides. They turn us into the things that we own. He says that's why the rich are often miserable, because they're re-surrounded by their own stuff, which they think is going to save them. 2, it makes us hold on to people too tightly. Seneca says we love people so much that we refuse to let them go even when they re-dead. We keep their clothes, we keep their toys, we keep their belongings. And by doing that, we feel like we're keeping them alive, but we're actually stopping ourselves from moving on, he says. You cannot have a new beginning while the old one is still there. So we need to learn to let go of people and things. That's what Seneca says. We want to appreciate life more. We have to learn to let go of the past. 3, the fear of death makes us chase power and fame. We think that if we become powerful or famous, then people won't forget us, and we'll live on through our accomplishments. But Seneca says those things are like Icarus, and they end up burning us alive. He says we complain that Achilles was ambitious, that he wanted to be immortal, but we're just like him. We want to be remembered, we want to be talked about, and that's what drives us. So he says that wanting to be famous is just another form of wanting to be dead, because it's only in death that we can become immortal. 4, the fear of death makes us cling to the present moment. Seneca says, we focus on small pleasures, food and drink and sex, because we think that if we can just hold on to these moments, then we'll be happy. But he says those things are like anchors that drag us down because we never move on. He says, no man is truly happy unless he moves ahead, tries new things, takes risks, and looks forward to the next day. So Seneca says we have to stop chasing instant gratification and start looking at the big picture. 5, Seneca says the fear of death makes us afraid to be ourselves. We pretend to be what other people want us to be. We pretend to be strong when we're weak, brave when we're scared, important when we're insignificant. And we do that because we think that if we show our true selves, then people will reject us, forget us, abandon us. But he says that's not true. He says when we're honest and authentic, people will respect us, admire us, love us. So he says, don't be afraid to be yourself. Don't be afraid to show your true colors. Don't be afraid to speak your truth. Be bold, be brave, be real. 6, Seneca says the fear of death makes us avoid life. We don't want to experience things because we think they might hurt us. So we stay safe, we stay in our comfort zone, and we miss out on life. He says life is not meant to be lived in one place. It's meant to be experienced all over the world. So he says don't be afraid to travel, to meet new people, to try new things. Don't be afraid to fall in love, to have children, to build a family. Don't be afraid to dream big, to set goals, to achieve success. Don't be afraid to face challenges, to overcome obstacles, to win victories. These are the things that make life worth living. Don't be afraid to die, be afraid not to live. Be afraid of wasting your potential, squandering your opportunities, of compromising your values, of betraying your soul. Be afraid of that, not of death. Death is just another adventure, another mystery, another challenge. Death is not the end. It's just the beginning of something else. something beyond our understanding, something beyond our fears. Death is just another opportunity to grow, to learn, to evolve, to become something more, something better. When Seneca wrote these words, he was facing his own death. He had been sentenced to commit suicide by the Emperor Nero. He knew that he would die soon, but he didn't panic, he didn't despair. He didn't run away. He faced his death bravely. He accepted his fate with dignity, wrote these words as a guide for the living, as a lesson for the survivors. He wanted to teach them how to live in the shadow of death, how to find meaning in suffering, how to discover joy in simplicity, how to embrace change as a chance to learn and adapt. Seneca's words are radical. They challenge our deepest fears and our most cherished beliefs. They force us to confront the reality of death, which is something we all have in common, something that unites us, something that makes us equal. Death is the great equalizer. It doesn't care about our status, our wealth, our power, our beauty, our talents. It doesn't discriminate. It doesn't favor anyone. It comes for us all. And when we realize this, we realize that life is precious. We realize that every moment counts. We realize that we should not waste our time on trivial things, but instead, we should invest our energy on what really matters, on what gives meaning to our existence, on what makes us feel alive. When we face death, we realize that we are mortal. We are not immortal. We are not invincible. We are not immune. We are not exempt. We are not above it. We are not below it. We are part of it. When we accept this, we accept the uncertainty of life, the unpredictability of the future, the impermanence of everything. We learn to live in the present moment, to savor every experience, to appreciate every opportunity, to seize every challenge. We learn to live fully, to live authentically, to live bravely. When we face death, we realize that we are vulnerable. You're not invulnerable. You're not impenetrable. You're not impenetrable. You're not impervious. You're not immune. You're not invincible. You're fragile. You're delicate. You're transient. And when we acknowledge this, we acknowledge the beauty of life, the fragility of existence, the preciousness of each breath, the tenderness of every touch, the evanescence of every flower. We learn to live with humility, to live with gratitude, to live with love. When we face death, we realize that we are limited. We are not unlimited. We are not boundless. We are not infinite. We are finite. We are restricted. We are confined. We are circumscribed. We are conditioned. And when we recognize this, we recognize the value of life, the scarcity of resources, the balance of nature, the harmony of the universe. We learn to live sustainably, to live responsibly, to live with purpose. When we face death, we realize that we are free. We are not enslaved. We are not burdened. We are not oppressed. We are liberated. We are empowered. We are inspired. We are enlightened. And when we celebrate this, we celebrate the wonder of life, the mystery of consciousness, the creativity of the human spirit. We learn to live creatively, to live with hope, to live with faith. When we face death, we realize that we are connected. We are not isolated. We are not separate. We are not alienated. We are integrated. We are interdependent. We are communal. When we embrace this, we embrace the wisdom of life, the continuity of generations, the legacy of cultures, the solidarity of humanity. We learn to live with compassion, to live with empathy, to live with kindness. When we face death, we realize that we are one. We are not two. We are not divided. We are not fragmented. We are not polarized. We are unified. We are harmonious. We are whole. And when we realize this, we realize the truth of life, the unity of all beings, the oneness of existence, the divinity of reality. We learn to live with love, to live with joy, to live with peace. Thank you.